Good evening and welcome to the B broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission. I'm your host, Breannah Edwards. Today we have with us two candidates, both vying for the 2021-2022 position of Public Relations Officer for the Yorkastle High School Students' Council. This evening's discussion intends to assist identifying, clarifying, and understanding the plans of our PRO candidates to bring about an effective change to the Yorkastle High School Students' Council. We'll take our first break here on the B broadcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the B broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission. We are with candidates vying for the position of Public Relations Officer, Ms. Natanya Watson and Ms. Sabia Anderson. The guidelines for this evening's discussion was previously agreed upon. So at this time, we'll take the 2 minutes opening statement from the candidates, beginning with Ms. Sabia Anderson.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Yorkastle family. I would just like to say, vote for Ms. Anderson. Why? Because I'm the best candidate. My track record being at Yorkastle High School, seeing all that I have done so far, seeing my relationship, seeing my work ethics and everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. We'll now head over on to Ms. Watson.
Morning, Madam Moderator, representative of the B broadcast, my fellow candidates and viewers. I am Natanya Watson, and as you know, I am vying for the position of Public Relations Officer. I am a vibrant, brilliant, energetic, and outspoken person. And these are characteristics that a PRO should possess, and that is why you should vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Thank you, Ms. Watson. This is our second segment, and at this time, we'll be addressing questions to both Ms. Watson and Ms. Anderson. Ms. Anderson. Firstly, there is a very interesting election going on, and we see candidates causing somewhat of a division amongst themselves. Who are you supporting for this year's Students' Council president and why?
Well, that's a very good question you ask. Well, I do not want to disclose who I'm going to be supporting, but let's just say the man that I'm supporting, he's up for the task, he's always ready to work, and he has great people skills. He will not let us down.
Awesome. And the same question is addressed to you, Ms. Watson.
Well, I as well would not want to disclose who I will be voting for, but I agree with Ms. Anderson.
Okay, thank you both. Since the opening of the campaigning season, it is evident that some of our students are unaware of the role and responsibility of the Students' Council. What do you believe is the main mission of the Students' Council at your Casa High, and how will you spread that mission to the students? Miss Anderson.
First, I would just like to put out there that we're in a pandemic, so we have to be mindful of the various things that can happen, such as catching the coronavirus. So we'd use various platforms to get out messages. But first, the PRO, or the public relations officer's job, is to communicate with students, get the information out. Basically, I consider the PRO the face of the communication, because without the PRO, or the public relations officer, who is going to get that information out about tasks being done, about the jobs being done, or about any events?
Thank you, Miss Anderson. Miss Watson, your rebuttal, please.
Well, I am in agreement with Miss Anderson. As a PRO, we have to be the front face of the student council, and the student council is responsible for actually helping students in bettering themselves and the school on a whole. So students have to try to consult with the council and trust the council, and the PRO is one of the persons who the students can consult.
Thank you both. Ms. Watson, if elected, what do you as a leader bring to this position that will help to promote growth in the students around you?
If elected, I would like to implement a game night every week, because currently we're in a pandemic and students are having a lot of mental disorders, and because of that, they don't really have anybody to speak with, and a game night would actually help them to release the stress that they're going through, and they can actually consult with persons that are in the game night, and the games will help them just be more of themselves and feel like they're in a school setting as opposed to just being at home and locked up.
Thank you, Ms. Watson. Ms. Anderson, do you have a rebuttal?
Well, I believe, as a PRO, you will bring innovative and creative ideas to the platforms. So getting students together, working along in unity, stuff like that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Anderson, the B understands that you would have contested this position in 2019, and then we would have seen you in the November 6th form elections, association elections, both elections in which you lost. Now tell us, Ms. Anderson, what has motivated you to keep going after these setbacks?
This is my belief. I do not believe in setbacks. It just pushed me one step forward, always making me say, all right, this is mine, so I'm going after it. So this is why I keep on competing for this position.
But Ms. Anderson, it seems as if the school population fails to see you as their potential leader with these consecutive losses. You have failed to gain the confidence of the school population, but just the sixth form year group. So how then will you try to gain the support from the school population at large?
Well, I plan to begin by campaigning, by working hard, by communicating with my fellow peers, students of the school, bringing creative ideas, voicing my five-point plan.
Okay, Ms. Anderson, thank you. Ms. Watson, you are not off the hook because you too contested this position in 2019 and lost to Oran Linton, under whose leadership lacked effective management in the public relations department. Your current campaign flyer promises us an awesome change. What are your awesome plans to bring about an effective change to the Your Casa High School's Students' Council?
Well, another plan that I have to implement is that currently I am running a study session with my batchmates, and we incorporate games and learning, and we kind of debate on topics, and we are learning effectively. And because a lot of students aren't able to go to their classes online, I would like to meet with the grade supervisors at each grade level and ask them to find some students who are like me, who are very energetic and very focused on their schoolwork, to help guide those students who aren't able to actually attend some of their classes and are falling behind, because we need to help other students as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Watson. Miss Anderson, your previous campaign back in 2020 focused on students' welfare, prompt resolutions, and better community relations. Earlier in the interview, you mentioned a 5-point plan that obviously, though, did not attract the voters. So what new approach have you decided to use for this year last election at your Castle High?
Well, the approach that I have this year is basically just getting my students together, because once persons know who you are, know your capability, and know that you're here for them, to work with them, you shall definitely get the job done.
Okay, thank you, Miss Anderson. Miss Watson, do you have a rebuttal?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Miss Watson, COVID-19 has forced us to undergo a change from physical school to the virtual online space. With this drastic change, importantly, how will you use the virtual space as an advantage to effectively communicate information to the school body?
Well, because like the main platform that students use is WhatsApp. So I would try to actually organize a group of students in each year group to put out whatever we have to put out to the students, because we want to ensure that we reach everyone in the school population. So that is what I would do, to try to ensure that we get to every single student.
Thank you, Ms. Watson. Ms. Anderson, do you have a rebuttal?
Yes, indeed. So we'll use various platforms such as WhatsApp, the school email that can send mass messages. We'll also use broadcast as a medium of communication. We'll use WhatsApp, as Miss Watson said, to communicate with our students, making creative videos and creative flyers to get information messages out about events, topics, and just to know information about the school.
Lovely. Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Ms. Watson, what is one entity that has proper public relations, whether within or outside the Castle High School campus?
Well, when it comes on to public relations, I always love to think about Digicel and Flow, because they always have some very interesting videos and ads to try to attract persons to switch over to their provider. So I would like to think that they have excellent PRO skills.
Thank you, Ms. Watson. But just a follow-up question. How will you go about advertising events and promoting them by the experience or the exposure to such an entity as Digicel?
Well, when it comes on to your castle, we are students who are active on Instagram and WhatsApp. So when it comes on to trying to promote events, I would try to use my personal Instagram as well as your castle school Instagram and the B broadcast, of course. And as I said, I would try to get a group of students from each year group to help promote the thing, as I would say, better, and to ensure that everybody can come to whatever events we're having and just come and engage with us.
Thank you, Ms. Watson. Ms. Anderson, do you have a rebuttal?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Miss Anderson, what is one entity also that you think has proper public relations, whether within or outside the Your Castle compound, and how do you think you can use that entity to actually put it within Your Castle High School and promote your events?
That is a good question. An entity that I would use is definitely YouTube, right? Because our students or our generation, we tend to engage a lot with social media, especially YouTube. So I would use YouTube to communicate with the students and other persons of the Yarkasa family.
Thank you, Miss Anderson, and thank you both. We'll take another break here on the B broadcast. When we get back, we'll hear from our PRO candidates who will be given the chance to question each other. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the B broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission. We are speaking with candidates Ms. Sabia Anderson and Ms. Natanya Watson, both vying for the position of Public Relations Officer for the Yorkastle High School's Students' Council. At this time, each candidate will be given the chance to question each other. The responder will be given 2 minutes to answer, and the other candidate may rebut given 60 seconds. Our first question will be from Miss Anderson. You may go ahead.
Thank you so much for the floor. All right, my first question for Ms. Watson. I hear you have some continuous mentions of non-related stuff to the position of public relations officer, such as the game night. You said that you wanted a game night every Friday night, but what about the Sabbath students as myself?
Well, for
Miss
those
Watson,
Sabbath,
you may go ahead.
well, for those Sabbath students, we could actually try to have an agreement with them and say, okay, since you can't make it in the evenings, we could try and do it after school, like give you a 30-minute break after school, and then you come and for like at 4 o'clock, because that's supposed to be convenient because you guys are, I think Sabbath begins when sun goes down, right? So you guys would actually have enough time before the sun go down to actually have fun, and then you go into your Sabbath.
Thank you, Miss Watson. Miss Anderson, do you rebut?
No rebuttal.
Thank you. Miss Watson, you may go ahead with your question.
Well, my question to you is, since you contested and you lost, it is alleged that you lost because students dislike you. What would you try and do if you should win to actually try and engage the students? Because you know that if students really and truly dislike you, then they won't really and truly give a care to what you have to say or promote.
Let me just stop you right there. Students do not dislike me, right? I have a reputation, and my reputation is one that is very strict. I'm not saying that, oh, I won't uphold to fun and games, but I'm also about schoolwork. I'm also about school events. I'm also about, you know, so students do not dislike me. Secondly, I have a lot in store. I have a lot in store for my school on a whole because, as you know, I love my school. I'm really in love with my school, right? So students would have to first understand. Plus, I'm very known around the school compound. Very, very, very known. So what I have in store, students know.
Thank you, Miss Anderson. Miss Watson, do you rebut?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Miss Anderson, you may ask your question.
All right, so just to backtrack for a minute, you didn't answer the first part of my previous question.
What was the first part?
So you were stating a lot of stuff, but you weren't stating stuff that were relevant to the PRO position, because as you know, the position is not about who a person is, but what the PRO does. So what would you do?
Well, as you know, as a PRO, you are supposed to accompany other members of the council on events. You should promote upcoming events, and that is what I can do because I am a very enthusiastic person. I am joyful, and I have a very welcoming personality. And as a PRO, that is what you should have, and I have that. And again, you know that we should actually try to have a relationship with the students, because whenever students have concerns to bring to the council, the first person that they would try to talk to is a PRO, because we're supposed to have a welcoming personality, and I can bring that to the council.
Thank you, Miss Watson. We're still at you. You may ask Miss Anderson your question. All right. Well, Miss Anderson, Miss Watson is there. Miss Anderson, you may ask Miss Watson your question.
All right, I just want to say, how does digital and flow tie in? And also, why are you attacking me and not my plans, not my policies?
I brought in the likeness of their advertisement, and I am not really attacking you. And this is a competition, as you'd say. So you would try to see or find out your competitor's weakness. I am not trying to attack you.
Thank you, Miss Watson. We're still at you. Your question to Miss Anderson.
So you're asking me what I can bring to the table, essentially. What can you bring to the table?
Well, I'm a very innovative person, and my creative skills, that alone is enough for persons, because when I get my information out with my team working well, we can get the job done. Plus, I'm a very timed person, and as you know, being a part of the student council body in general, whether you are the president, the PRO, whatever position that you have to have time management skills. You have to be there for your students. You have to be there for even sometimes the teachers. You work along with the school.
Thank you, Miss Anderson. Miss Watson, your question to Miss Anderson.
I would like to ask you this. So you are currently a upper six student, right? And you have exams coming up. And I would presume that you are trying to get into university. So what plans would you have to actually assist the students, because you would be leaving the school? So how would that work?
Just to answer your question, I'm not leaving the school yet. I'm a grade 12 student. I will still have another year at the Arkansas High School. Whether or not I have exams, I have great time management skills. Plus, as you already know, I I was in grade 11 at the Arkansas High School. I'm now transitioning to the grade 12. So that means that I already have a foundation. I'm building on my knowledge. And as you already know, I'm very academical. So I wouldn't have a problem when it comes on to working.
Thank you both. This will be your last question to each other. So you may think it out a bit. I will give you both 5 seconds to think. And we'll begin with Ms. Watson. Rather, we'll begin with Ms. Anderson.
Can I have another minute, please?
No problem. Right now. Okay, Ms. Anderson, we'll begin with your question. At this time, we'll take Ms. Watson.
So you claim that your team is reliable and ready for the job. So why isn't there any news about your campaign?
You see, a person can campaign and not do it publicly. I do have a public campaign team and I do have a private campaign team, but I'm not going to disclose my strategies to you.
Thank you both. Thank you, Ms. Watson. Yes, Ms. Anderson. Yes, Ms. Watson.
Then how would you get votes?
With all due respect, that is not your concern.
Thank you both. We'll take our final break here on the B broadcast after a heated discussion. When we get back, we'll hear from our PRO candidates who will then present their closing statements. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our final segment of the B broadcast brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission. We're speaking with candidates, Ms. Sabia Anderson and Ms. Natanya Watson, vying for the position of Public Relations Officer for the Arkansas High School Students Council. We have heard their opening statements as well as their questioning and answer segments. So at this time, the candidates will now present their 2 minutes closing remarks. We will begin with Ms. Sabia Anderson.
Well, good afternoon again, everyone. I just want to say, even though I wasn't here from grade 7, I came in grade 10. I came here because I love the school. I love what the school presents itself as, and I love the school leadership, right? Even though there were rumors spread, rumors, they come and they go, I still held my head high. I still put my name out there as someone who is reliable, who is trustworthy, who works on time schedule, right? And I am just the best person for the job, right? I also just want to extend that Bobby's team that he worked with and himself, they did an immaculate job. But even though they did an immaculate job, there were still stuff lacking. But I am here to just say that I have plans. I have plans that I would like to put in effect. Right. But I just want to say I make no promises, but I am here to do the little stuff, because at the end of the day, it's the little stuff that matters, not the massive changes that as you start 1 month it cancel. But I'm just here for the students. I'm here to work with y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Ms. Watson, your closing remarks, please.
So I'd like to start off by telling you a little bit more about myself. I have been attending this prestigious high school since I've been in grade 7, and it is my hope to come back to sixth form because I actually love coming to this school and love engaging with the students at this school. I am the best person for this job because I am reliable, I am trustworthy, and I am very understanding. And you need someone like this, like me, to represent you, the students, right? And as a PRO, we are responsible for gender affairs. I'm not a biased person. I look on things from a wider perspective. I would be responsible for the public relations, and as most of you supposed probably know, I am a very active person. And I have a warm personality, and I will bring to you the best things that you can possibly think of. I am responsible for marketing as well, and I will ensure that your Castle High School public relations office itself is nothing but perfect. And I'm not coming to you with any empty promises. I will be bringing to you things that are going to work and will work out in the long run. I am looking for long-term things. I would try to implement long-term things and not short-term things. So I would like to say to you, thank you for having me here today, and to my fellow opponents and Yorkies. If you want a proper representation today, then don't throw your vote away. Vote Natanya Watson for your next PRO on April 28th, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Watson, and thank you, Ms. Anderson. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, two very promising candidates. Thank you both for joining us today at the B Broadcast, as we wish you all the very best in your campaign. This was the B Broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission. Until next time, good evening.